Right before we jump into this video, if you haven't signed up for the Fronos Photo email list, just look for this orange box over on the website, put your name, email address in it, hit send it, and I will send you a free guide to capturing motion in low light situations. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com, here at the Fro Factory right now to do a real world review / 5-minute portrait of the Nikon 105 F1.4. Now this is a behemoth piece of glass. It weighs over 2 pounds and comes in at $2,200. But what I want to do right now is do some headshots and portraits of Josh back here. We want to shoot at 1.4. We want to shoot close down to f8. We want to try a whole bunch of different things to see what we can get with this lens. Like I said, we're in the real world. Let's do some shooting. Josh, are you ready? Josh is ready. If you do hear any extra noise or anything, that's because there's construction work being done upstairs. Let's see how this works out. So I'm just going to take a look to see how Josh looks. I mean, Josh looks good. I would need to get onto a stool or I may need to use a ladder, but in this case, I think Josh would be more natural if we sat him in a chair. Let me sit you in a chair right there. So that looks good, but let's move the legs this way a little bit. And then I like the fact you could lean in on your elbow some, and then that brings your face up, and then you have a very nice smile going there. So let me get my settings right. I'm not going to shoot at 1.4 to start, just because I want to make sure things are in focus. Yeah, I'm going to bump my ISO just a little bit, 400, because I want to counteract. I have to counteract hand movement at 1.4 and at 105, so I want to have a faster shutter speed. So I'm going to bump my ISO up just a little bit. I'm at 2.2. Get into the stance. Relax the smile. Relax. Let's see, let me get my settings right. Boom. Let me just take a quick look. And we obliterate the background here, and we're only at 2.2, and we're not that far away from the wall, which is pretty cool. So I want to focus here on shooting. Give me a slight smile. Actually, you know what you were doing before we started? You were kind of looking over there slightly, and then I brought your head back to here. All right, bring your face back to me. There you go, chin down just a little bit. Don't shake. Is that me shaking or is that you shaking? Don't shake, be still. Be still, young man. So you may hear me take multiple shots in a row. The reason for that is when you're shooting wider open, if I only take one and I'm moving, when you take multiple ones, it means that you've settled. You're taking 3, 4 shots in a row. It's not because I want to spray and pray to capture motion. It's because I want to get a settled image. One of those 4 that I take is going to be more still, which is what I'm looking for. So let me take a look at some of these. Let me just show you, Josh, so you can take a look, quick look. See something like that? Yeah. Be a perfect Tinder profile for you. Yeah, there you go. Now, put your hand like gently. Yeah, so what you're not gonna do is really press. You're just gonna gently leave it there. Now put your eyes towards this direction. I wanna see what that's gonna look like. Now, bring them right to me. See, the cool thing here is I've locked my exposure and it's basically right on. My histogram looks perfect right in the middle. The light comes in through this soft window over here. I actually had all frosted glass installed into the Fro Factory downstairs because nobody needs to see in, I don't need to see out. It just gives us this soft, smooth lighting, which we'll work with as we move on. So I want to do I said I would do some 1.4, so let's do some of that 1.4. Just give me no teeth this time, but just like a smizing look. You're like staring right through me and the camera. So get my settings right. We're at 1.4. I like this. Don't shake, don't shake. So you hear the focus beep because I'm at 1.4. I have to make sure I am tack sharp at 1.4. Let me make sure. That looks absolutely sharp. Well, as sharp as I can see it on the back of the screen. If I miss because I'm on the eyelash, then I'm screwed. That's why just because you have 1.4 doesn't mean you need to shoot at 1.4. But we're just testing it out to see how it obliterates the background. And the difference you can see, there's a little bit more vignetting in there, but that's something you can fix in lens correction if you really wanted to do that. 1.4, okay, there you go, I like that. Bring your chin down just a little. There you go. Give me a smize. Was that you? Did you just make that noise? All right, hold that. I like that look. There we go. We got that. So it's so hard to tell at 1.4. I don't like always shooting at 1.4 because it's just his eye, then his nose blows out and everything else is out of focus. I want to be up here a little higher. So why don't we shoot at 2.8 on this 1.4 lens and see how we do right here. I may need to bump my ISO though, just a little bit because we're losing down that light. I'm just thinking. I mean, I've seen your shoes, I've seen your socks. We should probably get some shots of that. I'm going to jump back here real quick. You may see Dan in the background. Dan, wave to somebody, you know, because you're doing some audio and taking notes. Yeah, give me the lean in, less of that smile and that, but make it, so turn your leg a little bit more that way. Now lean, get your, there you go, but get your hand down to here, all right? And get it more like this. There you go, that's perfect. So this is more of a full frame, full body. And I just want to get my lines straight. Check my exposure. I'm a little off. Of course, I could get that proper. I'm gonna, instead of doing that, let's drop the ISO a little bit. So that looks good. And now I'm just gonna walk in a little bit more. So I do like the way that that looks. And we're trying to move quick through this so we can get through multiple scenes. Relax your eyes a little bit. There you go. Now bring your chin down just slightly. And my light's changing. My light's changing, so actually I'm gonna go, I'll open up the aperture a little bit. Wow, does that light change in here? Woo, I just went to f2. Man, that really does change everything. But this still looks really nice. Now, I'm gonna come up a little higher here. I've got that green thing in the background I don't want. Relax your eyes a little bit. Yep, multiple shots. It's just to give me this. See? Looks pretty good, right? That obliterates the background. Why don't I just have you stand against the wall real quick because I want to do a quick demonstration, but don't actually touch the wall because then we'll get it all over your shirt. Step stool, step stool. Josh is taller than I am. So what I'm going to do, can you take another, put your heels against the wall. I know your brand new brown shoes. Actually, I'll do this first and then I'll shoot your socks. This is more of a test at 2.2. He is right against the wall. Actually, turn this way a little bit. Put a hand, just relax, yeah, relax, there you go. Relax the face, relax the face. All right, now give me that slight smile. These are super tight headshots. There you go, that's good. I'm gonna back up just a little bit. I wanna go to let's go to f3.5, bump my ISO a little bit. Holy dirty, there's so much dirt in this place right now. Wow, and the light just changed again. All right, relax that smile. Give me more relaxed. Bring your head tilt this way, let's see. Turn your body a little more, as if your shoulder was gonna go against the wall. And bring your chin down for me. Man, I just lost more light. Make sure everything's fine. Completely obliterated the wall. So that's obliterating the wall. Let's go up, let's shoot with f4. See what it does here. I need to change my ISO. And then I'll take a quick look. You can, oh wow, does that obliterate the background? All right, so we've done this wall. Actually, let me get your shoes real quick. I don't know how do you show your socks? How does somebody show socks here, Josh? Do it sitting. All right, sit down, let's show these socks. And then we're gonna pull you into this portrait session and move somewhere else. Yeah. Don't forget the detailed stuff. I would lay against the ground here, but the problem is I don't want to get super dirty. I could also see what we could do. I'm too close, that's how close you can get. I do want to try a close-up portrait just to see how close we can get to that. So yeah, right there. Turn this way just a little bit. We're gonna get as close as we can, show you where the focus, close focusing can be. Right here. This is as close as we can get from Josh to get it in the focus. Okay, all right, that works. Whew! Now you know what I should do, Josh? I should do some higher aperture portraits, but we'll do that over here. Let's move the chair over here into my sweet, sweet light. Right about there. And then we'll get ready to go upstairs shortly. You're gonna be facing the window this time? And as you guys can see back there, actually, let me bring you forward a little bit because the light has shifted since we started. Actually, we started earlier, but go ahead. Sit there. This is nice. I love this type of lighting. But what I want to show everybody out there is that you see how dirty the background is with stuff? We've got brooms, we've got other that. I want to obliterate that. I don't want that to even show up in the background. So what I'm going to do is shoot wider open. Yeah. Boom. Less cheese, less cheese. Bring your chin down just a little bit. Bring your head tilt this way. Boom. Now squinch just a little bit. That's a Peter Hurley term. So like rest your eyes, like the smoky eye look, you know? And I'm losing light. You see that light just dropped again? And I have to be cognizant of that every time that happens. And then it came right back. There you go. And the background should be, yeah, you can see it a little bit, but if I go to 1.4, we can get rid of it even more. And I'll do this so we're off to the side. I like this. Relax the eyebrows, relax. Give me a slight smile. Less of that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, wow. I'll just show you what it's doing. You see that? I got you. And I love, so one thing I noticed here is the vignette at 1.4. You see a lot more vignetting around 1.4. I personally like leaving that. I'm not a big fan of getting rid of that in post-production. I actually like how it naturally vignettes Josh's head. It draws you into the frame. So let me do the chin thing real quick. Yeah, let's see. Yes, this is great. That light just shifts on me. But you can see that the background is completely obliterated. I am blocking this light a little bit. Let me bring you up a little bit into the light more, because I like the way it's gonna look in the face. It's bright. Well, it just got brighter as you moved in, which means I need to make all these changes. I'm at 1.4. Okay, go back to the lean in. So what I didn't like in the other, there wasn't enough light on this side of the face. But oh my God, now it's like, now it's beautiful. Now slightly look this way and bring the eyes back to me. All right, all this is at 1.4. The hope is that I'm actually sharp where it needs to be sharp, because the last thing you want to, this is why I'm very careful at 1.4, because you can't really tell unless you're going to look in the computer that, that everything's sharp and in focus. So that's why I'm going to shoot a little higher. Right here. That's why you hear so many focus beeps, because I want to make sure that my focus is locked in. But look at, this is pretty cool, you know? You like that? He likes that. But I need to get that hand. Okay, put the hand there again. I'm gonna back up just a little bit. Is this my Porsche? Is this my, are these my keys? No, it's Josh's Porsche. Smile like you own a Porsche, Josh. There you go. Well, the light totally shifted. Totally shifted, I just broke all the rules, but you can see the backgrounds there. I mean, that looks sweet. I'm gonna take one more up close. Let's do 1 point. Let's do 2.0. I like this. All right, no more hands. Just give me a nice, rub your hands together like it's relaxing, yeah. Like you're looking like, yeah, that's right. I am the CEO, bitch. Yeah, this is the I'm the CEO shot. Give me the smile like you own a Porsche. Let's see how close I can get here. I'll go right in the middle. Give me a smile. There you go. All right. Okay. I have a bunch of those shots. Let's get upstairs and put it into a studio situation. We've got a bunch of Kino flow set up just to do these tight headshots. You got to remember, 105 is a portrait lens. If you put this on a crop sensor camera, it's an even longer lens. So 105, something like this is going to be good for portraits. It's going to be good for the outside shots too, to get full body. But remember, I have to move my feet in order to get the framing that I want, the composition, because I can't zoom. But so far, feels pretty good. Hey there, don't forget, if you're interested in learning exactly how I capture these images or how we make these videos, then check out the full line of Froknos Photo video guides. Learn how to unlock the power of your camera and capture amazing photos with the Froknos Photo Guide to Getting Out of Auto. Learn how to finally take control of your flash with the Froknos Photo Guide to Flash Photography. And learn how to shoot and edit video with the Froknos Photo Guide to DSLR Video and Guide to Video Editing. If you want to take your creative skills to the next level, go to froknosphoto.com/guides to learn more. So we've now moved upstairs at the Fro factory to get some more studio style lighting. We have the Kino Flow set up right here into a nice little triangle. It kind of comes from my good friend Peter Hurley. He does a lot of this style of shooting. So I'm gonna get Josh in here. We're gonna do a bunch of these type of portraits, vertical, horizontal. We'll try a bunch of them at different apertures just to see what we can get, so we give you guys test images to play with. You can download the raw files over on the site so you can do whatever you want with them, and hopefully this gives you a good representation of what this lens is capable of. But before we move to Josh, let me talk about that autofocus real quick. It is actually pretty quick focusing. It's not the fastest lens in the world, but if you're going to compare it to something like an 85 1.2 on Canon side, it is much, much faster than that. But that's also because it's a 1.4. All right, Josh, take over the triangle spot right here for me. I'm going to come around the bend, and we're going to start doing these shoots. That looks super sweet. It's just really cool lighting. This type of setup is so awesome for portraits, and that's probably why Peter does it all the time. So there you go. It doesn't hurt your eyes? No? Okay. So I'm gonna do a bunch of different things. I've got my step stool up here. I just wanna make sure I don't have, I have to move myself because I don't really wanna do too much in post-production if I'm getting some of that in there on my horizontals. Right now I'm at 4.5 just to see what I get. Take a look. I love how that light looks. So bring your chin down just, let's see. There you go, that's what I want, that's perfect. Chin down a little more. Yes. Those eyes look great right here. Yeah, that's even better. Oh, that's super sharp. The light looks great. It's nice and soft in the face. The eyes look awesome. The background goes a little gray here because I don't have a background light set up. If in the future I could basically put 2 strobes or a strobe on the background, I could totally blow out the background, or I could put a black paper in the background, which would then do different types of things, obviously, would separate the background different. But if I wanted to get the background completely white, I would put another light back there, but these are the 3 Kinos that we currently have. Chin down again a little bit. Yes. Now, bring your chin forward. It's gonna feel weird, but you're just, yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I like the way that looks. So what I also need you to do is relax your eyes just a little bit and just, yeah, close your eyes, you can do that. Yeah, and then open them like relaxed. Cross your arms just for me. See what happens. Just see if that change. Yeah, that changes up that changed it all up just by crossing your arms. Turn your feet that way a little bit. You see how I'm directing you? It's all right. Take 1 smidgen this way. All right, 1 smidgen back this way. There you go. And there you, yeah, turn your head. There you go. Eyes right to me. A little bit towards, a little square it back off towards me again. Your whole nose. Bring your nose towards the camera. Okay, chin down. A little more. That's it, give me a smile, a slight smile, not that, that's it, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Sweet. Now let's go 1.4 just for fun. We'll go to 1.4, which means I'm gonna drop my ISO to compensate for that. Chin down again. There you go, a little more. A little more, a little more. I know it may be split the difference. There you go. Give me a slight little, there you go. I sound like Bob Ross. I'm like, give me a slight little smile. Oh, that's gorgeous. That's a happy smile. Whoa, does that obliterate things? Holy obliteration. Josh, I should say holy obliteration. Batman? Oh, hey, there it is. There it is. it took saying Batman. Now I'm taking a lot of pictures there because I'm at 1.4. I'm trying to hold my breath when I'm shooting. If Josh moves it, or if I move, it may totally miss the focus that I'm looking for. Again, that's why I don't live at 1.4, because it's so shallow, it's so narrow, which reminds me to tell you this right now, that just because you have a 1.4 doesn't mean that you need to shoot wide open all the time. Now, the reasons you had 1.4s 10, 15, 20 years ago was because film speed could not keep up with the amount of light in low light situations. So you needed another way to let light in. As you open up your aperture, you end up changing the depth of field so it becomes much narrower, which means you may miss your focus easier. But back in the day, you needed to do that in order to let light in for, say, the 800 ISO speed film. Now, the point of a 1.4 today is the fact that it gives you the perception that the shots are so much sharper than with a zoom lens. Prime lenses, always gonna look sharper. They're gonna look more colorful. They're gonna look more punchy. They give me a beautiful raw file. Of course, it's the camera that gives me the raw file, but the light being let in by the lens is really what matters. I love shooting these at f2, f2.2, 2.5, because it gives me a little bit more leeway, and it's sharp as can be at 2.5. It's still sharp at 1.4, but 2.5 gives me a nice leeway. Nice education, right? All right. So let's do that 2.5 and let's see what we got. Let me get my apertures right. Let's see if we get Holy Batman again. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Did you just see that, Josh? Yeah, you're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know. This looks pretty good to me. All right, let me step in closer. I could have also brought up the other stool from downstairs, but then we'd need to really change the lights. Okay, I'm just coming in a little closer. I just like being slightly over his eye line, just slightly over, because I'm short anyway. There we go. Chin down a little bit. Tilt your head that way. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, Josh. Just imagine you got Porsche parking over at the factory, at the loft. Porsche parking just for you. Could you imagine? That's what you want, I know that. So there's your oh yeah. Here, I'm just gonna show you that. Look, it's as your eyes and everything came in perfect right there, right? That's exactly what I'm looking for from that type of shot. So let me go up into more of the, let's say 5.6 range, just to get your entire face in focus here, because I'm doing that, which at 5.6, what am I doing? I'm cutting back on the amount of light that I'm letting in, which means I need to bump my ISO up higher or drop my shutter speed, or do a combination of both to get the proper exposure. The lights are not changing here, so I'm gonna start with moving my ISO up higher. Let's see what my exposure looks like. Based off of my meter, it's not far off. I'm gonna go up to 1000 ISO at 5.6, and about 1/320th of a second is good. Let me get that chin down again. Give me that smile, give me that smile. Not that smile. I don't like that smile, Josh. Never yell at your subject. Josh, what are you doing? You can let it out a little bit. You can let it out just a little bit. Yeah, less of that. Give me the natural, like you're the natural guy. Together, smile with your eyes, chin down more. Oh, that's it. One little tinge more. Yes. Again, I will repeat, I am taking rapid fire shots to compensate for me moving. I feel myself shaking. So this doesn't have VR, so I wanna make sure that I get it right. And that's why I'm doing that. And that looks unbelievable. I'll show you that. Look good? That looks good. Let me step back a little bit, see what else we can do here, and then we'll call it a day and move on from there. Okay, yeah, shake it out a little bit. Shake it out, shake it off. I just like the really tight headshots, to be honest with you. That's really where I want to live with this, because that's where we'll see this sharpness. Cross your shoulders, your arms again. Yeah, cross your shoulders. And then put your legs up. Yeah, do all that stuff. Okay, back to the center a little bit, because you moved off. This way. Yeah, you can move your feet a little bit. There you go. Relax your shoulders. Give me that, yep. Chin, okay. No, you can leave your head up where it was. I want you to tilt your head this way just a little bit. I like the way that looks. See, we have everything in focus. Your ears are falling out just a little bit, which is fine, which is much different than when you're at the 1.4 or the 2.5. These are studio portraits, so it really doesn't matter what you're shooting them at as much as to what I want his face in focus. But we'll play around with this a little bit more. Chin down now. No, let's go with that. A little bit more, a little bit more. Stick your neck out. Boom. Yep. Oh, hey. Hey, what are you doing later? You making me lava cake? No lava cake? I haven't had lava cake in a while. I'm on a diet. Not really on a diet. All right, let me go back down. Let's see what 3.2 could do. I like that look. Yeah, I'm gonna go this way. Chin down, chin down. Okay, now let's see. I always throw people off to different sides of the frame. Let's turn your shoulders a little bit. Yeah, you see what happened with your head? Now tilt your head that way. Down a little bit. Boom. I'm constantly putting the focus point right in his eye. And that should be spot on and nice and sharp. Let me do one more vertical. Let me get rid of this and then I'm done. I know you're taller than me, but so this, I'm just trying to, I can't get that close. That's how close I can get with this. Oh, right in the middle, there you go, that's good. All right, and I think that pretty much does it. So the idea here was to run this lens through its paces as it pertains to doing some portraits. We have natural light portraits, and yes, they're in not super low light situations because it's about the sharpness of this lens. It's not so much about being able to shoot ultra wide open like I already said. I wanted to come in here and get a couple of different scenes downstairs. We've got the brick wall. We show how you can obliterate it even when you're standing right next to it or right in front of it, obviously. And then I wanted to do some of those with my portrait window because I love the soft light coming in there. Next, come upstairs, get these awesome studio light portraits done with this triangle of light from our Kino Flows, and pretty much call it a day. So we should go back to the loft right now, take a look at the images, and then just tell you what I think. Did I hit my focus at 1.4? Did I miss it? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? Because that's what all this is about, learning about photography, helping you understand it more, and seeing how this lens works out and if it's worth it. So I'm gonna head back to the loft. So here we are back at the loft where I had a chance to take a closer look at the files as well as give them my type of editing. Now, not everybody likes my edits, and some people may look at the images and go, why didn't you touch this up? Why didn't you touch that up? Well, in my personal style, I don't go ahead and do that because Josh's face is Josh's face. Now, with that said, if you would like to go ahead and edit or download some of the RAW files and check all of the full res exported JPEGs, head over to the site right now where you can download a bunch of them as samples so you can edit them any way that you see fit, as well as pixel peep to see if you like the quality of this lens. Before I turn to the computer to show you the images, I want to let you know we are using the 105 f1.4 on this angle. Now it's set to f2.5. It's not wide open, but here is how you can see how it looks when we're doing video. Now, one of my major concerns when I was going to shoot with a 1.4 lens is, will I be able to shoot at f1.4? You have it, you might as well try to do it. Now this image right here is shot at 1.4, and when you zoom all the way in, you can see that it is tack sharp. On the other side, I've got this eye in, this eye is out of focus. So right there, it is super tack sharp. Now I wanted to show you this. I wanted to do a vertical shot at 2.8, filling the frame. You can see it a little higher ISO right there. Black and white just to show you, but let me show you this. This is at 2.8, which is the widest that many people's lenses shoot at, f2.8. We go to the next one, look at the background. No, it's not 1.4, but it's f2. So the difference between f2 and 2.8 is huge. It is a large amount. Look at the background get totally and completely obliterated from one to the next. Now I also wanted to show you this. This is 1.4, this is f4. So we were right up against the brick. 1.4 blows it out, and f4 gives you a lot more in focus, obviously. So moving on, I love the way that this image looks. And yes, this is at 1.4 also, and let's see where our focus is. Oh my God, look how sharp, both eyes almost look in focus. Actually, this one's a little sharper on this end, but this is still sharp. Look at me. That's me right there leaning down. Look how clear and crisp the eyeball is. You can see the reflection of me shooting, the windows. You even have different tones. Of course, the tones that I'm picking up, a lot of the dynamic range and the details that are there, part of that is because of the Nikon D5, but the other part is the fact that this lens is just absolutely sharp and contrasty and beautiful. Okay, moving on. I just wanted to show this because the background, the light was changing. You can see, oh, and remember this, if you remember how distracting that background was with push brooms and boxes and stuff, a ton of stuff in the background, totally obliterated. Totally and completely obliterated. This to me is the quintessential shot that you get from a 105 lens. This looks like a cover of Time magazine. I'm not saying it should be on the cover. I'm saying it fits what you would see of President Obama when they take that photo and he's on the cover. It says Time magazine right up here. It has enough room down here to go ahead and put different headlines and stories that are in the magazine. This to me is the ultimate portrait lens. Let me just say this. If you have the time to set up the shots, this 105 is the perfect lens for doing portraits. Now, if you're shooting people moving, subjects that are athletes, sports, and things like that, it's a little more difficult to get the composition right. But when you have the time and you're in the studio and you can work with this 105, you can get incredible portraits. I absolutely love what I was able to get. Now, what this picture is showing me right here is how close I can get with the focus to my subject. So what is that? That's 3.28 feet away for the minimum focus distance. I like the shot too, and that's at 1.4 as well. And I was very hesitant about shooting at 1.4. I shot in all the different other places up to something like f8. This is at f4. You can see upstairs with the lighting, the light looks pretty darn good in that Peter Hurley triangular style of light. But I picked this image for a reason right here. Let me show you. I have the Enable Profile Correction. Let's turn that off. Boom. That's the vignette. Now, for certain images, I like this. And that's because we're at 1.4. Look at the vignette that you have here. As you get up to 2 and 2.8 and 4, you don't have that vignette, but you can correct it in post right here in Lightroom. It lets you do that because it has that profile. So moving on, you can see this is at 5.6, one of my favorite portraits from the entire shoot. You can see the difference. Look, 1.4, you're just focused right here. The ears go out, the face softens up. That's where if you have models with imperfections, even though it's a super sharp lens, when you shoot wider, it softens up certain spots in the face so that the eyes are nice and sharp, but the other stuff isn't super duper sharp, showing you whatever imperfections there are there. This is at 5.6, and from front to back, this is absolutely incredibly tack sharp. I love this photo, printed it out, and it actually looked awesome. Another close focusing look, and then because I said this is the ultimate portrait lens, I threw some other people in front of the camera. Here's Dan. You can see it's just a great portrait lens. And then we move up and we've got Todd being Todd, and we finish up with a shot like that. So how did the lens handle? Well, it's a big lens at 2.17 pounds. It's pretty heavy. It's like a chode. It's pretty thick. So if you have smaller hands, it may be harder to hand hold it and operate it. I felt that it was fine, but it does feel large in the hands when you're holding onto that lens. Now, some people will complain that it's made in China and not made in Japan. Whatever it is, from what I've heard, is that a lot of the Japanese factories were still not in good condition to start making these lenses again, so they made them in China. It is what it is. I don't look at that and say, oh, not gonna buy it because it's made in China. I think it did a fantastic job. Is it worth the $2,200? If you can afford it and you're looking for the best of the best of the best with Honor Sir portrait lenses, then absolutely yes. It is well worth it if it allows you to get the images that you want to capture, because it allowed me to get the images that I wanted to capture right here. So if you're wondering how is the focus speed, It's actually pretty good. Much better than the Canon D5 1.2, which is a hunk of glass unto itself. And don't forget, this has an 82mm filter thread as well. So, final thoughts. I think this is one of the most incredible portrait lenses I've ever used. Sharp, colorful. At 1.4, I am still getting sharp, tack sharp images. That's what I look for in a lens. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's a little heavy. Yes, it's limiting because it's a prime lens. But if you have the time and you were looking to get the best portraits, you cannot go wrong with this lens. Of course, you need to be able to afford it. So, I want to remind you, if you haven't subscribed here on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when all of my videos go live. And that is pretty much going to be it. Let me do a sign off. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.